Hello learners, in this lecture we are going to explain rural development. Rural development, it is the process of developing the quality of life and economic well-being of rural people. Rural development is a very wide concept. It refers to an improvement in any area of the rural sector. Thus, rural development includes human resource development in rural areas, land reforms, increase in productivity in the rural sector, rural infrastructure development, and eradication of rural poverty, improvement in socio-economic conditions of the rural people, and so on. Requirements of rural development. These are the basic requirements for rural development. Land reforms. Proper land reforms will help increase agricultural productivity. It also reduces inequality in rural areas. Land reforms may thus greatly help in rural development. Development of human resource. It includes those factors which improve the quality of life and develop man as a human resource. It requires removal of illiteracy, spread of education, improvement in the conditions of health and sanitation, improvement in housing, development of skill, and etc. Number three, increase in productivity in rural areas. Besides land reforms, there should be provisions of rural credit, farm implements, improved seeds, fertilizers, etc. Further, new agricultural strategy should spread among the farmers and proper training for this strategy is to be provided. Next is development in infrastructure. Infrastructure like roads, communication, irrigation facilities, credit, marketing, and agro research facilities, etc., should be developed. Removal of poverty. Measures should be adopted to remove poverty in rural areas. Standard of living of the weaker section of rural population should be increased. These people should be given employment opportunities wherever possible. Improvement in the socio-economic condition of rural people. It includes spread of education and modern ideas, removal of superstitions and taboos, spread of rational outlook, development of commercial attitude, overall improvement in the standard of living, etc. Employment opportunities. The rural in rural areas, employment opportunities must be created so that rural people gets the employment which will help to increase their standard of living, and this will also reduce the migration from rural areas to urban areas. Some crucial aspects of rural India: rural credit, marketing system, agriculture diversification, organic farming in promoting sustainable development. So about rural credit, marketing system, agriculture diversification, organic farming in promoting sustainable development. Rural credit. Credit taken by farmers from institutional as well as non-institutional sources to meet their production cost, to develop land, to pay rent, or to meet their consumption expenditure of their families. This and that is why there is need for rural credit. Rural credit is taken by the farmers from institutional as well as non-institutional sources. Farmers need credit for different purposes. The main purposes of rural credit are to meet consumption expenditure. Agricultural activity is seasonal, so farmers earn in some seasons, but they have to spend round the year to subsist their family. To incur this consumption expenditure, farmers need short-term credit. So there is need for rural credit to meet consumption expenditure. Next, to buy farm implements. To buy farm implements, to buy bullocks, to dig well, etc., farmers need medium term loan. To purchase seeds, chemical fertilizers, pesticides, insecticides, etc., farms take loans from institutional or non-institutional sources of finance. To make permanent improvement on land. Farmers need long-term credit for this purpose of buying additional land to make permanent improvement on land, to pay off old debt, and to buy costly farm machines. Farmers require credit. To subsist against crop failure. The success of agriculture is nature based. That means agriculture depends on nature. If crops fail due to flood or drought, the farmer falls into trouble and has to take credit. To meet unproductive expenses. Sometimes farmers take loan for unproductive purposes, such as for marriage ceremony, births and deaths, etc. To undertake additional activity. Farmers sometimes adopt animal husbandry as an additional activity in order to raise their income. To purchase cattle, to build up cow sheds, and to purchase various equipments, they may have to take loans from others. To produce plantation crops. If the farmers want to produce fruits, flowers, or other plantation crops beside food crops, they require money to start such activities. Hence, they have to take credit. To pay rent. If the rate of rent is very high, the farmers may have to take credit to pay off arrear rents. Thus, a farmer needs credit for various purposes. Sources of rural credit. There are mainly two sources of rural credit: non-institutional sources and institutional sources. Under non-institutional sources are money lenders, relatives, traders, commission agents, and landlords. Under institutional sources, we have cooperative credit societies, scheduled commercial banks, regional rural banks, and National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development (NABARD). Non-institutional sources of credit. We know that non-institutional sources are very important in supplying rural credit in India. In spite of government measures to provide institutional credit, the importance of non-institutional sources could not be reduced much. Farmers in rural India still depend largely on non-institutional sources of rural credit. The main reasons behind non-institutional sources of rural credit are the methods of business of village moneylenders and traders are simple. They are easily accessible to the farmers. Number two, there are no official formalities to get credit. Hence, the poor and illiterate farmers prefer to take loans from non-institutional sources. Third, institutional sources provide only productive loans. Hence, for unproductive or consumption loans, farmers have to go to non-institutional sources. Next, moneylenders maintain a close and personal contact with the borrowers. They often have relations with the family of borrowers over generations. Next, the moneylender has local knowledge and experience. He knows how to protect himself against default. So he can lend taking very less risk. Finally, we can say non-institutional credit is prompt, informal and flexible. Such loans can be renewed easily following timely payment. Transaction cost, that is cost for fulfilling formalities before receiving the credit, is also minimum. So these factors explain the predominance of non-institutional sources of rural credit in India. However, non-institutional sources have some defects. These are the disadvantages of non-institutional finance. Interest rate in case of non-institutional credit is very high. Next, often small farmers are cheated by the manipulation of accounts because most of the farmers are illiterate, and whatever the money transaction they have, that is done orally. Sometimes village moneylenders and others lend to the farmers against their standing crops before their harvest, and they force the farmers to sell their crops at low prices for the repayment of loan. Finally, in many cases, lands of the farmers are appropriated by moneylenders. Small farmers then become landless laborers. They are forced to become bonded serfs and to work in the farms of moneylenders at a very low wage. Many laws have been enacted to control the activities of village moneylenders, but these laws could not be successfully implemented. Hence, the predominance of non-institutional sources of credit still continues. In spite of so many efforts, institutional sources have failed to become the effective competitors and substitutes of non-institutional sources of rural credit in India. Thank you.